Today, I'm very frustrated, guys, because I'm a very jealous person and I envy people who could do outline and inking, you mother fudgers, because I want to do that. Why am I envy of people who could do inking, pretty much like manga artists and comic book artists? It's because they could always make their outlines look freaking dope. Like where they don't even need color in order to like make a design or a character concept just super dope. For me, I need color in order to make my characters concepts really cool, in my opinion. Every time I see an outline of my character, I always cringe at it because I know it does not look good at all. And that's because I never tried to make my outline better. I only was focused on making my color theory better and my shading skills better, but not inking and detailing my characters. That was never been like a big thing, but now it is because I realized that's the direction I need to go if I want to create. So this is how inking is gonna change my life to become a better artist and really figure out what I want to do within my world, within my comic, the Think of Universe. 'Cause I'm in a journey of trying to get better with inking. The first thought I thought about was pretty much let me try it out myself first without any outside influence. Just check out some references here and there, but just go with an open mind and try things out. So that's what I did with the first three ink designs I created. It was the kaiju fight, and the space boy sit on a froggy, and then also the Japanese convenience store. So the ideas was from these art pieces right here was pretty much the kaiju fight was an experiment to kind of mess around with the buildings destroyed, the little cars, to the clouds, kind of like show like kind of hiding things. So I didn't know how to draw certain things, so I just used clouds to kind of hide sort of like stuff that I didn't know how to draw. And I just kind of just experimented with that decal with the buildings and stuff, and just kind of messed around with that. It was just an octopus versus a banana kaiju throwing a beam, and I just added my banana characters in any way I can, just kind of like just mess around with it. So that was the idea with that one, and then with the froggy one, well, I wanted with all black background, so I couldn't really do. I wanted to see how the moon would look like with the stars and the planets and stuff like that, and the two penguins, call them penguins so much. How they would look like with a full black background, and how much detail I could put on it, so they don't like blend too much of the background, right? Not go too heavy on adding the black. And when I added with the froggy and the space boy character, I knew that what I wanted to do a negative space opposite of what decal is for the rocks, and then a thicker outline for the other two rocks, like the where he's sitting in the platform, the planet that the character's at. I was experimenting from like the buildings to the background, space background. But I wanted to try one more thing with the forefront and not another angle one first, because I wanted to like try again, but this time without a black background. So I went with a Japanese traditional convenience store, which I wanted to do for the longest time, but I never had the skills to do it. I never really tried. So I actually wanted to try with this one. I looked some references here and there. I remember watching High School Girl. If you guys remember that show, it's about an anime about fighting games like this right here. And so with this one was I was all right. Let me tell a bunch of stories all over the place, or just have characters doing random things on this. Not really have a full on plan, but just go with my gut and see how to go with that. So the idea was have my main character in forefront, and then there's things all happening all over the place. There's a ghost coming out. There's a frog. There's a banana. There's a penguin playing arcade machines, and then the building was literally it was a good. I found a good references of a building, and I kind of just went with like how it looked just in the forefront, not too much of 3D of it as much, and kind of just experimented with that, with the drawing and then the inking and adding the detail to it. So this is how much I've learned so far of me starting out the ideas. So these two turned out right here. I wanted a lot of open space and a lot of like big space to draw a big paper because I really wanted like nothing really stopping me to kind of go in on detail, especially since these are my first two. And so this is how these turned out, right? After all of that, was the beginning of inking, and so the next one was like, okay, what can I do now to kind of experiment? All right, what is the one advice that I hear people say? It is from learning from the greats, right? Like who you want to learn from your influences. And some of my biggest influence or the artwork that I really love or like looking at a lot was Kentaro Berserk art. Love the backgrounds, love the creatures, love the monster, the gruesome dark fantasy of what he does. And then from there, I also like looking at Oda, One Piece. I really love One Piece. I love the characters. I love the imagination of it. And also, what I love about it is they're human like characters, but they're more like not too crazy on like full getting the full anatomy right, if that makes sense. Like the anatomy is right, but when they have powers, you could get more crazy with it, right? Within that world. So that's why that is really a big influence of mine because that's kind of what a direction I want to go towards of making instead of making my characters more chibi, make it more human like and expand from there. So that's the why One Piece is a big inspiration. And then I also want to get inspired was from the comic books, right? Even though comic books suck right now, but there's still some really great artists out there. And one of them is Jim Lee. I love his artwork. He revolutionized a lot of like how art is like characters have been done since like from the 90s to like early 2000s. And it's the same thing with with McFarlane. The way he changed Spider-Man just by making like more exaggerations within like the hands, the eyes, the mask on Spider-Man alone. It was like a big deal because it was a complete different thing going for him. And in the outline alone, it looks incredible. When you look at those artwork, which is just black and white, right? It's just ink. It's just awesome. And I wanted to see how they do those little sketches, stuff like that. And when I look at Jim Lee, when he was explaining the muscles, the way he kind of separates them with 1, 2, and then 3, and then it kind of like how the arm is just going like a puzzle, right? He just does it like that, like easy peasy. And then when I saw this video of him making Wolverine out of wiggly lines, quick sketch, quick ink, you could tell that's Wolverine. Right, he is an iconic character, but you can tell it's a character of the detail that he added onto it. So it's like heavier detail on that. So from watching all of this stuff, I knew what my next plan was. I knew what I needed to do for what I wanted to learn inking, comic books and manga. That's what I needed to do. What I wanted to do is to learn how did they create those, like the outline of those covers. So I decided to go with Amazing Fantasy number 15, the first appearance of Spider-Man, and then I decided to go with this cover right here, the first Days of Future Past Part 1. I love this cover. It's one of my favorite covers of all time, and it is like shows a poster of all the heroes and I believe there's some villains here, but it's mostly heroes of like gone missing or been slain, killed, all that kind of stuff, and you see Wolverine protecting. I believe I forgot what this character. I'm not gonna say Kitty Pryde, but yeah. So I was like, all right, you know what? I want to go with this. This is one of the covers I really want to experiment because you see the lines right here in the buildings. I want to like kind of replicate that and experiment with that. And so I decided to go with those two comic book covers and then one manga cover. I was gonna go with One Piece, but I decided, you know what? Let me go with My Hero Academia Volume 1. And why would I go with that one? Because there's no background, there's just characters, and that's it. And I really just want to see how that'll look by itself since I did backgrounds already. No expert, but I want to experiment how the characters look by themselves. So the first one was Amazing Fantasy number 15, the first appearance of Spider-Man, where Spider-Man's carrying out these like 2 humans on his arm, or 1 human in his arm, and he's swinging. So I thought it could be kind of cool to use that the angle kind of thing to draw it with my character think of and have them like, you know, see what can I do, what kind of details can I put onto this to this and kind of copy almost exactly what the how the cover looks like, so I can see how they did the details, how they added this character, how did they added that detail, how did that added that background, stuff like that. So that's what I did with that one, and so that was like, okay, so I see what I'm going with this. See where I'm going with this. And so like, oh, I added all the black onto one building kind of thing. See, and then I added black on one side. See how that looks. Give that angle, stuff like that. So those is all experimenting, right? And then I went from that to the Uncanny X-Men number 141, the Days of Future Past storyline. So with the Uncanny X-Men number 141, it's the first appearance. Well, not first appearance, but it's the first part of the Days of Future Past storyline, and I really love this cover. It's one of my favorite covers of all comic books because it has like so many characters, but you can't really see them because there's like a dead or alive kind of thing, or capture, something like that, or missing on the poster. And I was like, oh man, this would be really cool to like really draw out, and it will really let me experiment with the background and so adding the black in the background, but not like do a full blown black, just add like spaces between them, add a full building in the back, add the comic book like name and all that kind of stuff, and just kind of experiment with that, and then like mess around with the characters in the forefront with like think of character and the red Google Panda character. So it's kind of like just like it's almost exactly like the cover, but always with my twist to it and my and then I was like, okay, so I don't know what to do for the bottom, so this time instead of adding clouds, I added rocks and also a different thickness to the rock. Like, and so instead of just using one different like kind of line work, I added like two different ones. Instead, was the thicker on the rock, was thicker on some other areas, but it's also lighter on other ones. So I was like, okay, that gets it more depth, that gets it more like difference. So that's a new skill I learned just by doing this one. And so when I decided, and then when I went for the last one, the My Hero Academia, the volume 1, and like I said before, the reason I went with this one is because it was just characters and no backgrounds at all, and that was like literally the point. It was like, okay, I got to challenge myself to do a lot of detail, or how much I know how to do, and get the characters out, get them popping, like make them cool. And so the idea was just get copy exactly how the volume 1 is and learn how to use the position, the background, like the characters and stuff like that, like how much detail could I put on them or not. And so what I did was, first I started with Think Of right in the forefront with like him having the backpack and the villain, not a hero, Monef, in the second row, kind of the second layer, and then the top left was all the other characters are part of the story. So that was the idea of it, was like not to go too much of it. Just literally, it's how much detail I could put, how much I've learned, because I tried new things with the what they call it, like the hatching kind of shading kind of thing. Added some full black onto the ink design, the ink drawing, and so that was like experiment from everything I've learned to what is now. So I'm still a beginner and I need to learn a lot more, but this was a really great step for me to learn all these techniques. And kind of just experimenting, just going for it. Even though I failed it or whatever, I felt really good when I was done with all these 6 pieces. This is one of my favorite ones I created. Enjoy the close-up on all these 6 pieces. I'm going to do something a little bit different right here, guys. No slow-mo kind of thing, but transition. So let's go. Show the art pieces. Edit it, Jenny. Show. Alright guys, so hope you guys enjoyed that. Hope you guys hit the like, subscribe. Road to 500. I got more content coming out for you guys. I got this right here. I'm going to show in full form. I got some really cool custom Funkos that I have. And then I also got another video on the work. So I got multiple videos, guys. But next video, guys, that you guys will be seeing will be the tier list of movie posters. And if you guys want to be part of the tier list to like kind of give your opinions of what you guys think about the art in marketing and kind of like products and stuff like that, join my Twitch channel at twitch.tv Jonnyboig. We do Sunday art tours every single Sunday, guys. So stop by on there. But yeah, much love, everybody. Thank you guys again so much for watching. Peace out, much love, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Whoop, yo.